Welcome to Spidell's Federal Tax Minute. I'm your host, Catherine Zidane. This week, we're discussing the multi-factor authentication requirement for tax professionals to safeguard sensitive client information. At Spidell's Federal Tax Update webinar, you'll get updated on everything that happened during the year, including TCJA provisions that expire at the end of 2025, beneficial ownership reporting requirements, the latest research credit developments, using AI in your tax practice, and more. Get details and register at spidell.com. The IRS is reminding tax professionals that it is now a federal requirement to use multi-factor authentication to protect clients' sensitive information. The requirement is part of the Federal Trade Commission's standards for safeguarding customer information called the Safeguards Rule, which is part of the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act of 1999. This is the same law that mandates tax professionals to implement a Written Information Security Plan, or WISP. Companies defined under the law as financial institutions have to ensure the security and confidentiality of sensitive client information. The financial institution's definition includes professional tax preparers. The client information protected by the Safeguards Rule is any information an individual provides to get a financial product or service, for example, name, address, income, social security number, or other information on an application. Any information provided by an individual from a transaction involving a tax professional's products or services. For example, the fact that an individual is a client, any account numbers, payment history, loan or deposit balances, and credit or debit card purchases. Or any information provided by an individual in connection with providing a financial product or service, for example, information from court records or from a consumer report. Multi-factor authentication is required to be implemented for anyone accessing customer information on a tax professional's system. Under the Safeguards Rule, tax professionals need to use at least two of the following factors for anyone accessing customer information: something a user knows, like a username; something sent to them, like numbers texted to a cell phone; or a physical part of them, like a fingerprint or facial scan. In addition, multi-factor authentication is required to be used to secure client information on a tax professional's computer or network, but it should also be used to access client information stored within their tax preparation software. Multi-factor authentication is required by law for all companies, not just tax professionals, and the size of the company does not matter. Opting out of using multi-factor authentication in tax preparation software is a violation of the Safeguards Rule. Tax professionals should implement multi-factor authentication across all services and data access points. They'll also need to regularly evaluate multi-factor authentication methods, standards, and new technologies to stay protected against the latest threats. Tax professionals are also required to enable multi-factor authentication within cloud storage services containing sensitive client data. And a new WISP template has been issued by the IRS to help protect tax professionals, especially smaller practices, against continuing threats from identify thieves and data breaches. Federal law requires that tax professionals have a WISP, and they have to affirmatively declare that they have one when they renew their PTIN each year. The new version of the WISP includes several information updates since the first version came out, including best practices for implementing multi-factor authentication for any individual accessing any information system. It's available in IRS Publication 5708. Spidell offers numerous live webinars on a wide range of topics such as choice of entity, new mandatory ownership reporting requirements, accounting and auditing essentials, understanding the business interest limitation, and more. To see the full list of offerings, go to spidell.com and click webinars to access the list of upcoming live courses. That's all for this week. Join us next time for another episode of Spidell's Federal Tax Minute.